Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning, 4th of July.
Okay.
I'm Commander Ryan Jordy of the American Legion Post here in Gunnison, here to honor our fallen hero, Alun Howells. We'd like to start out with the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over ramparts we watched, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare that runs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Now I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. All right, I'd now like to read a poem. It's to honor all the Gold Star families out there. At ground below zero, you will find an American hero. Resting in peace, will never know a son, daughter, nephew, or niece. Missing by all within, left wondering what could have been. Their dust in the wind, yeah, in a better place smiling. Unforgettable in every way, and forevermore, that's how they'll stay. Their sacrifice we will not betray. We stand for the anthem when we play. No sick days for thee, made roll call easily. Red, white, and blue, coming home for all to see. Only regret, one life to lose for their country. For many there was no Twitter, but more than 140 were of good character. Cared less about likes, followers, cared more about country first, and being good leaders. At ground below zero, you'll find an American hero, resting in peace, will never know a son, daughter, nephew, or niece. So I'd like to thank you for the Freedom Tour that is here today, sponsored by Boots 66. This tour covers 46 Colorado cities to honor the 108 vets lost during the Afghanistan-Iraq War. This Boots 66 has covered over 35,000 miles in the state of Colorado so far. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Wes Love.
Thank you very much. Thank you folks for attending. This is extremely important to I and Tony. We do it from the heart. We have reasons why we do it, but the main thing is that we do it from the heart. We actually enjoy going to small towns and helping the people and doing what we can. And so we never forget the veterans who have sacrificed everything for our freedom. First thing I'd like to talk about is the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. There's a place naturally at Arlington where the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is. Only the good Lord knows who's there. The security that walks the tomb is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and everybody knows it snows there too, and it rains. They take 21 steps, turn around and 21 steps back. Each guard does 2 hours straight, and then they're replaced with another guard. They get a ribbon that says that they are an honor guard tomb soldier. This ribbon is so important that 20 years after they're completely out of the Army, if they get locked up for any reason, they lose that ribbon. That's how important the ribbon is. I'm not sure. What we're going to do now is the POW MIA table. Tony, would you please step forward? We need 6 volunteers for this. And we have 6. Come on, give us a hand. Give us a hand. We need 6. 2, 3, 4. 2 more. 1 more. 1 more. Aha, thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Ryan, you'll have to come back up now to MC because I'm going to be busy.
The table before you is a place of honor. It is set for one. This table is our way of symbolizing the fact that members of our profession of arms are missing from our midst. They are commonly called POWs or MIAs. We call them brothers. They are unable to be with us this evening, and so we remember them. This table, set for one, is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his oppressors. Remember. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. Remember. The single red rose, displayed in a vase, reminds us of families and loved ones of our comrades in arms who keep the faith awaiting their return. Remember. The red ribbon, tied so prominently on the vase, is reminiscent of the red ribbon worn upon the lapel and breast of thousands who bear witness to their unyielding determination to demand a proper accounting of our missing. Remember. The candle is lit, symbolizing the upward reach of their unconquerable spirit. Remember. A slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate. remember. There is salt upon the bread plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they wait. Remember. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us this night. Remember. The chair is empty. They are not here. Remember. Remember, all of you who served with them and called them comrades, who depended upon their might and aid and relied upon them. For surely they have not forsaken you. Remember. Remember until the day they come home. Remember. Thank you, everyone, for attending this service.
Floyd Jackson was missing in action for 64 years in the Korean War. We matched up his remains with his only surviving niece in Centennial, Colorado. We received his remains on a Thursday evening. Wes and I did the homecoming at VFW Post 1 that Friday, and on Saturday morning we laid him to rest right next to his mother that Saturday morning. Roger Nielsen was missing for 74 years. We were in attendance for his ceremony last January at Fort Logan Cemetery. We do this ceremony because there are many that has not been accounted for. There are many families in this country have no whereabouts of where their loved ones are, and we do it to remind them that we are thinking of theirs that are missing in action. The next ceremony we'll do is the remembrance of the 22 veteran suicides daily. The 22 boots that you see with the 22 flags is a reminder that we are losing 22 vets every single day.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to do 22 push-ups. So if you think I'm going to do them by myself, I need some help. So come on forward onto the grass where you can do 22, because that's what we're going to do. Come on.
Okay, Wes is 71 years old, and if he can do 25, I know many of you who is a quarter of his age can do 22 now.
He had to let the cat out of the bag, didn't he?
Are you ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Run for the corn! Run for the Navy!
Thank you. Yeah, Tony, you had to let the cat out of the bag, didn't you?
Yeah, we're right over here.
During the St. Vrain's Invitational Track and Field Meet, May 12th, this past year, beginning at 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock that night, Wes and I did 500 push-ups, 22 every half hour, to raise money for the Rocky Mountain Dogs Project. Kevin Sonka's son, his picture is up there, got shot in the back with his dog Flex 4 years ago. Kevin quit his job and sold his house. He has the only traveling mobile museum to honor all 33 dogs, including his son and their handlers killed on the battlefield. If he didn't have a conflicting schedule, his museum would have been here this morning. Now, there's a piece, as we have our men and women all over the globe serving our country, where dictators are abusing and killing their own people. Our men and women is fighting for their freedoms like the freedoms that we have right now. They've seen their buddies come home in the red, white, and blue coffin, flag draped coffin. The images will stay with them for a lifetime. That's why we have those 22 boots, because we are losing 22 vets a day. This PTSD in our day was called shell shock, today it's post-traumatic stress disorder. So Zoom is dedicated, the Zoom triangle. Go ahead and show them what the Zoom triangle is, Wes. We designed a Zoom triangle. If you look at the bottom left of the triangle, it's basically a kid out of high school in basic training. We spent a lot of money getting them combat ready, combat trained. Zoom, at the peak of the triangle, now they're on the battlefield. As I said, they're seeing their buddies coming home in flag draped coffins, images of body parts all over the battlefield. After so many combat tours, so many deployments, Zoom, it's time for them to come back into society. And we expect them to come back to us like at that peak of the triangle, it never happened. For all practical purposes, they committed suicide over there. They didn't really pull the trigger there because they were amongst their buddies who supported each other. But when they came back with that monster, high anxiety, high stress. We're not spending a dime on the downward slope of the triangle to get them the help that they need. And as a result, we're getting 22 suicides a day. So as I recite this next piece, think of the men and women on the battlefield serving our country, trying to get the freedoms of those countries that we have here. Zoom. I may be called a foolish dreamer, but I really don't care, because my happiness is out there somewhere. I'm searching for a silver lining, horizons I've never seen. I'd like to take this moment to dream my dream, dream my dream. Zoom. I'd like to fly so far away from here, where my mind can stay fresh and clear, where the love that I long to see, everybody could be what they want to be. I'd like to greet the sun each morning and walk amongst the stars at night. I'd like to know the taste of honey in my life. I've shared so many pains, I've played so many games, but everyone will know the right way, somehow, someday, some way. I wish the world was truly happy living as one. I wish the word called freedom someday would come, someday would come. Zoom. I'd like to fly so far away from here, where my mind can stay fresh and clear, where the love that I long to see, everybody could be what they want to be. Next up, we'll have the tribute to our service dogs. By the way, in a perfect world, Zoom, no boots, no 22s.
I'd like to mention the service dogs. Over here you see I was bred and trained to save and defend our country. Service dogs now they've been used for years. A lot of people are totally, completely unaware of what their actual functions are. The harness you see there is for jumping out of airplanes, actually. Now, along with the military, there's also police, cadaver dogs, let's say dope, whatever dog you want to call them. They're used in so many functions today that without them, there would be a big hole, and only the dogs that are filling. I was in Vietnam, and there were approximately, maybe if this is conservative, 10,000 American lives were saved because of service dogs alone. And this is Vietnam, back in the 60s. So if that's the case back then, you can imagine how they're being used today. From airports to the Twin Towers, to military, to police dogs, to service dogs of people who need the help of a dog, whether they're albeit blind or whatever, a service dog. So this is what I would like to say, that we honor the service dogs. We have 108 that died in Afghanistan and Iraq, and 109 is all of the military service personnel from the state of Colorado who died in the war, and the 110th is the service dog. We appreciate, we enjoy, we're very humble that we can actually bring this to you, this knowledge to you, that you will know that we really appreciate them. Thank you very much.
March 20th is the anniversary of the Iraq War. Next March 20th is the anniversary, the 15th year anniversary. As Americans, we like increments of 5. Not that the 12th or the 13th or the 6th is not as important, but for some reason, we like numbers in terms of 5s. So we will be in the city of Denver every year at Civic Center Park. They throw everybody out. We display 70 chairs, 70 pairs of combat boots, 70 flags, 70 pictures, of which Alun is one of them. The 68 chairs honors all who died in Iraq from Colorado. The 69th chair honors all who died in other wars from Colorado. The 70th chair is for all the dogs killed from Colorado. You might have heard last night in the news that the Freedom Wall in Aurora, where we live nearby, was vandalized yesterday. Over 6,000 men and women died for our freedom, and someone vandalized the wall. During the November tour, when we were in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, to honor Justin McNeely and Benjamin Hoffner, our truck was stolen with every item that we had. The boots that the families had given us, where their loved ones had worn, every one of those boots had a history behind it. We had chronological, every single combat tours that they did and who wore. Those items we cannot replace. So we're starting all over, and with the help of many Coloradans. We are back on the road, and we will not stop until we get every single one of these vets on it. Think of it this way. I'm not a poker player, but the term all in, when you got a good hand, you go all in. These men and women gave us a good hand. So Wes and I, we've been going all in nonstop for the past 5 years. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the empty chair. And one by one, we have some items from people in Colorado. These items will be going to the families of Alun. First things up is his picture. This past Friday night, a rugby team, Northern Colorado Flamingos, found out that Alun's favorite sport was rugby. They called me up and asked me if I could come and pick up a signed ball, rugby ball, so that it could be given to his dad. So this past Friday, we drove up to Fort Collins to receive this ball, which will be given to his dad. Both he and his dad played rugby. When we first started the ceremony, a poem that was read that we wrote a week ago to honor Alun and all others who made the ultimate sacrifice. We will sign this, and this too will be going to the Howells family in Wisconsin. Put in front. That rock that you see right there on the table, when we travel throughout and we do each of these ceremonies of the high schools these kids graduated from, if they don't have a memorial for them, what we do, we get a rock engraved, the kid's name on it, day he was born, day he died. And our goal is to have the principal of that school have the incoming freshman class for the school year, one by one, take that rock home. They need to understand that Alun went to school here, died for their freedom. Freedom isn't free. Make something of yourself so that his death is not in vain. We ask that when they receive the rock for their turn, they take a picture so that that picture 4 years later when they graduated is included in their yearbook. This is how, in our small way, we've decided to remember Alun and others like him until there's an actual memorial built for each one of them. So if you could pass the rock, this is just a symbol. The actual rock will be done by Olinger's mortuary off of I-25 on 104th. They assured me that it will be here this week. We will be sending it to this fine gentleman right here, who will be giving it to the principal. One by one, we will make sure each one of them are remembered, and that the kids who are attending those schools are aware that a fallen hero attended. Those soccer trophies are great. Football trophies, you guys earn them. How about the kid who sacrificed his life so you guys can play ball? That's where we're coming from. Okay? So we'll put that rock on the chair. There's a lady here that made this deal possible, and everybody knows her in town. She needs no introduction from Wes or myself, and her name is Kathy McAllister. I'd like her to come up right now so we could present ONED. Is there a member of the Gunnison School, a teacher that was here when Alun went to school here? Okay, we'll have Kathy present ONED. ONED, O-H-N-E-D, just like the shirt says, stands for the oath has no expiration date. Every one of us will expire. Kids all across this country right now is raising their right hand, taking the oath. The oath will live on. So that's why we designed a shirt for ONED. Oath has no expiration date. On the back of the shirt, it has all 46 cities that we have visited to honor all 108 vets. So at this time, if Kathy would be so kind to present ONED to teachers of Alun School, that would be great. This is a special piece. This was one of the items stolen. This was the first piece that we built. It had a stainless steel frame on it. The frame was stolen. The two knuckleheads that they caught just pleaded out. So as a result, we were able to get some of our items back. We got 30% of the stuff back, but the most precious items like the boots we couldn't get back. So this piece we'll donate to the school, and we will send another print to the city of Gunnison in Allen's honor. There are a whole bunch of thank you, greeting, and cards that you see on the table. People from all over the state have signed a greeting, because every Thanksgiving and every Christmas you can find Wes and myself pulling a 15-hour shift at DIA. This is a result because we didn't get a chance to thank Alan and others like him. At DIA, when our vets come home for the holidays, if they're stuck, they need a ride home, we provide free limo service to and from their Colorado destination free of charge. If they buy something to eat or drink, we pick up the tab for them. Last Thanksgiving and Christmas, we passed out 5,000 thank you Christmas cards from people like yourself that took the time to fill those cards out. So if you have a minute, please take a minute to write a thank you, and we'll be more than happy to hand it out for you. As you know, this is a goofy world we're living in, and none of us is guaranteed a tomorrow, especially our vets who's on the front line and our first responders who's on the front line. So please take a minute to fill it out. Doesn't take much of your time, and we'll be pulling a 15-hour shift every Thanksgiving, the day before, and the day before Christmas. The success of the Thank You for My Freedom Tour is based on people like yourself. There's no corporate sponsorship. If you look behind me, there's no Pepsi, there's no Nike, there's no Coors. The men and women who died for you and me, they are wearing the uniform with their name, their rank, their branch of service, and an American flag on their sleeve. To honor them the right way, we want to make sure the same way they died for you and I, we want to make sure that there's none of that stuff associated with the tour. So we've had to scratch, we've had to brown bag it like we did this morning, but it's an absolute honor and privilege roaming the halls of these heroes where they went to school at. At this time, I'd like to have Kathy's son come up here and speak a few words about Alun.
Morning. Sorry, it's a little low. I sure picked a great day to wear black and body armor, so I am on my way up after this to go babysit 10,000 adults. I grew up here in Gunnison. Alun and I met in 3rd grade. We got into a fight on the playground, and that's how we met. Since then, we were pretty much inseparable. We worked the same jobs. We worked at McDonald's under Candy, and we worked at Safeway, and we worked in Almont, subcontracting and mowing grass. We succeeded together. We failed together. Rob Whiting contacted us more than a few times with the Gunnison Police. Alun went through his phases. You know, he was a cowboy one day and goth one day, and then an Abercrombie and Finch model the next. But his personality never changed. He never changed. He would give you the shirt off his back. The day he was killed, me and another friend, Nick August, were all in Baghdad together. He was killed in he was doing a route clearance mission. He volunteered for the mission. He's in an elite vehicle by himself, no weapon system, and an anti-tank grenade ended up hitting his vehicle and took his life. That's the person he was. He'd volunteer to lead from the front. He he was just an amazing person and just an amazing guy. And there's that day that goes by that, sorry. It's that day that goes by that I don't miss him. So thank you guys for coming here. Thank you for doing this, and thank my mom for getting this set up. And it's incredible to see how many people are here and the outpour, and it's just incredible. So I hope everybody has a very safe 4th of July. I hope I don't see you later. And I'll leave you with this quote. I'm going to have to look it up now because I'm all, just one second. It's from John 15:13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. I think that's pretty fitting for all. So thank you.
We'll get you out of here in this one. Piece is called Wake Up Everybody. Wake up everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There is so much hatred, war, and poverty. Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. They're the ones that's coming up and the world is in their hands. When you teach the children, teach them the very best you can. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. The world won't get no better, we have to change it, you and me. Wake up all the doctors, make the old people well. They're the ones who suffered the most and catch all the hell. They don't have to very far before your judgment day. Why don't you make them happy before they pass away? Wake up all the builders, time to build a new land. I know we can do it if we all lend a hand. The only thing we have to do is to put it in our minds. Surely things will work out. They do it every time. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. The world won't get no better. We have to change it, you and me. We need a little help, you all. So if you'd like to make a donation in the green canister, if you'd like to buy some prints, there's no reason everybody should not be without an American flag today. I've got a whole bunch of flags. We put out 96,000 flags at Fort Logan Cemetery this year. That number goes up by 4,000 every year. Some of the flags that we have left over we sell for $5. On our way to Montrose at 12 o'clock, we'll be doing a ceremony. Every 4th of July, we honor a kid whose mom or dad from Colorado died in Iraq. The far end table, you will see Chad Maynard's picture. He was 20 days shy of his 20th birthday. His daughter was born 30 days after he passed. They don't have a car. And earlier this week, this past Tuesday, Wes and I cleaned his grave. He's laid to rest at I-25 on 104th. We offered a prayer, observing a moment of silence, took a picture, and those pictures is going to his daughter, along with the flag that we placed at his grave, along with the scholarship she receives it this year. We can only do so much. We need some help from you guys. So we have some art, we have some prints, we have some t-shirts. We really would like to get rid of them and help fund the tour because we really don't like to receive donations. We'd rather give you something that came from our heart so that you know that we are all in because we got a good hand to play and they left us. So thanks very much for coming out. I'd like to thank the Legion. I'd like to thank all the scouts. Most of all, I'd like to thank the first responders. Without them, without the men and women on the front lines, we do not exist. So thanks everybody for coming out, and if you could help out, we really appreciate it. So thanks very much.
If I could, I'm sorry, I just have to extend from the family their heartfelt thanks. I talked to them last night. They're absolutely overwhelmed at the response and wanted me to be sure and thank you all for coming and thank Tony and Wes.